Okay, well, there was a very important milestone recognised in the Parliament this week, the second anniversary of when Julia Gillard said there'd be no carbon tax under it. It's amazing, the anniversaries, you know, we forget wedding anniversaries, but we don't forget those things. So how did that go? Did the coalition make some inroads on that by drawing our attention to that moment?
They did, and they released a special ad on the interwebs, as we like to say in the trade, and they'd planned a whole question time strategy as well on Wednesday and Thursday around shifting their lines of attack onto the actual power bills that some businesses are starting to see come in now. A couple of examples raised by Andrew Southcott, the Liberal MP from South Australia, about hotels in Adelaide.
And the movie theatres.
And the movie theatres, who are facing much bigger power bills and cutting down screening times. So I think you're starting to see the kind of reverse work choices, in a sense, from the coalition now, where, remember when Labor was running so hard against work choices, and every day they would come up with some practical example of a worker who'd had a contract that offered them a very measly trade-off for losing penalty rates and overtime. Here, the coalition strategy is put a human face on this.
Oh, it's not just the coalition either. I mean, it's the Murdoch tabloids. Every day, school lunches are going to go
There'll
up.
Be no shortage
every day
of those
they
examples.
have some new scare you sort of story about what the dreadful thing the carbon tax is going to do.
Yes, but then Tony Abbott's overblown rhetoric, if you want to see it that way, is just as much the issue now too. I mean, that's what's emerged in the Parliament and before Parliament resumed. That was already starting to catch up on him.
Overblown rhetoric in
terms of the impact that it would have, and now the official indicator suggests that it's barely registered. It's 0.2% or something on the Richter scale.
But there will be instances where it is more significant than that. And if it is a 10%, it is a 10% increase, isn't it?
In power bills, yes.
So before people pass that on, they're going to get a big whack on their bills. They'll wave that bill around and go, oh no, freak out. Then the government's got to remind them, yes, you're allowed to pass that on, and that's why we've compensated consumers. So it's a tricky message, I think, with a big dangerous hump waiting there for the government.
You see, if you're at a movie theatre and your power bill goes up by 10%, you can't pass on your ticket prices by a 10% increase, because that's only part of your costs. So it's going to mean a 5% increase in the price of a ticket to a movie or something in some of these places. Yeah,
there'll be a bit of a flow through, and then, quite frankly, I think people are already starting to get over it. I mean, it's not exactly Y2K, but it's one of those things that's very scary in prospect. The GST, very scary in prospect, and then it comes in and there's a whole lot of little instances of unfortunate and anomalous and nasty consequences, and then everyone gets over it and goes away.
I think we've got to wait for at least 1/4 of power bills to come through.
I think the household power bill, the first quarterly household power bill, will be
it's very unfortunate.
The moment for people.
And it's very unfortunate that we've got all those other, gold plating of the grids by the various electricity concerns that are adding to it, and that people won't necessarily disaggregate in their thinking about it.